I'm Andy McKay, and you're watching LincTV.
Hello, I'm Emma and you're watching LincTV. Today I'm here with Andy McKay. He's a British filmmaker. He also does some sound work, an artist, and does a bit of photography as well. So recently, your documentary Survivors, which is about people that were abused as children, sexually abused, which has recently been nominated for the Midlands Centre Royal Television Society Award in September. So can you tell us a little bit about the synopsis of what the film's about?
I was asked to make a film about 18 months ago by an organisation who counsels people who've had traumatic experiences as children in terms of sexual abuse. My first reaction was to say, no, I don't really do that. It's not a specialist area of mine. But then I did some research on the organisation and I realised that they don't describe these people as victims, they describe them as survivors, because all their work goes into trying to bring these people around from being traumatically affected to surviving the experience and being able to look forward to the rest of their lives with some sort of positive. And in view of that research, I thought, okay, I'll do that, but I have to think really seriously about the way it's handled.
So it's like a very personal subject for the people who were in it. Did you ever find it overwhelming to be part of the crew or during the filming process?
In some ways, yes, but I was very careful to create circumstances where I was not present during the telling of the stories from these people, because if I were present as a filmmaker, this could affect the way that they told the story. So I managed to train the counsellors to record the stories that these people told based upon a series of sequential questions which kind of went over from, what happened to me, how did it affect me in my childhood, how did it affect me in my later life, how did it then how did I then come to terms with the idea that I had to do something about it, and then what happened to me, if you like, in the end. So I was very careful not to include myself in that scenario. I wanted the story to come from the inside of the people who had been affected by this, to reflect their journey from the darkest days into some form of lightness, in personal experience.
So I think it's very touching story when you do watch it. So do you have any tips for documentary filmmakers, how to get the most out of your subjects, how to make them open up to you, kind of thing?
I think the question I always ask is, where will this work go when it's finished? It's an absolutely key question. What is it for? Who is going to see this? And that should affect the kinds of techniques that you use to evolve the film. And that's why I did that particular film in the way I did. In terms of tips, I guess my background, I was originally trained in fine art, and I've worked a lot in theatre, which is all about communication. And therefore, again, the question of who is going to, what the audience for this work is pretty crucial when it comes to those techniques that you use. So I suggest people making documentaries should tune in to the whole purpose of the film, rather than just make a film because it's a kind of an interesting subject.
So what tip would you give to any aspiring filmmaker? What's the best way to get out there?
Well, my point of view is from an independent filmmaker. Okay. I've always been someone who has had ideas about making films and films I wanted to make, completely independent of, agencies, broadcasters, and so on. So I'm probably not the best person to advise on how to enter the industry. However, as an independent, I think you should follow your ideas, you should follow your passions, you should dig deep, because these things don't. I always have this joke with people that even if a film you make is 10 minutes long, it still probably takes 3 years of your life. This is absolutely true. You know, in fact, the Survivors film that we were talking about earlier actually took me 18 months overall, and I'm still kind of living with it now, if you like. But nevertheless, you know, there is always, so it's a hell of a commitment. You know, it's not like a production line like you might imagine the BBC or ITV or journalism, where you go out with crews, you cover something, and then you come back and it's the end of it. You know, if it's self-made, created, then you know, you're going to live with it for a lot longer.
Okay, well that's all we've got time for today. Thanks Andy for joining us today. And
Pleasure.
see you soon. Thank you.